Finnish company Quarken have built a reputation for building some really nice, robust, do-it-all year-round cabin boats. But they also do a much more open sport tourer. And having seen it, it's actually a little bit of a surprise. So I'm going to take you on a full tour of it. My name's Hugo Andreae, you're watching Motorboat and Yachting. Let's go and take a closer look. Prices for the sport tourer start at €250,000, but you get such a lot of boat for it, and a really clever one too. So the standard setup is a pair of 300 horsepower Yamaha outboards. With those, you'll get a top speed of around 45 knots, or you can upgrade to twin 350s for more like 50 knots plus. So it's a really quick boat. It's also a remarkably practical one. So this is the Sport Tourer version, so straight away you'll notice we've got a massive sun pad here. But it's not just a sun pad, it's also a really handy storage facility. You can lift this section up, and straight away you've got very easy access to a pretty decent storage area under there. There is also an electric lift. This whole thing can lift up and give access to an even bigger area, which hopefully I might be able to demonstrate to you too. So this whole sun pad actually opens up too if you need to access the rather larger cabin. It is quite slow at opening. It's very quiet. It is quite slow. But you will start to see there is an enormous amount of storage down there. If you take a look down there, we've got a load of show kit and a fair old stash of beer in there, but can get plenty, get quite a few water toys and so on in there. Now moving forward from the sun pad, you'll notice what look like benches on either side. They're much more than just benches though. These are actually little folding terraces, and we can hopefully demonstrate that to you now. So the whole thing drops down manually, cushion goes on top, and it becomes a really nice little bench. So you can sit on the side there chatting to friends on the sun pad. It also expands it up and opens up the view as well. Now, one of the big differences is that it's got asymmetric decks. So rather than full walk around decks, you'll see you've got a really good deep walk around on this side, and on this side it expands all the way, the cockpit expands all the way out to the edge. You have got a sort of vestigial side deck. You can creep along there if you want to, but most of the time you're obviously going to stick to that much wider forward one. Now, worth pointing out that all the way along here you've got grab rails. I love the fact that it's sort of black painted or anodized grab rails. That just looks a bit more modern and stylish. And either side of the bathing platform here you've also got really good lockers for fenders and lines, exactly where you need them. Really nice solid mouldings, good sort of soft finish deck. It's not fake teak, it's more of a sort of foam. You also notice there's little brackets here. That's so that you can have a little demountable table that sits on either side of this sun pad. We've got a big A-frame for towing water skiers or wakeboarders, whatever it may be. And then if we swing round, you can see we've got a big hardtop overhead, so you've got plenty of shade. You've got the speakers mounted in there. Nice to see that it's got a sort of soft touch fabric on the inside, so it doesn't feel too sort of bare and Spartan. I'm afraid these little LED lights are flashing. They're obviously not in real life. That's just a sequencing thing with the shutter speed of the camera. But we've got a really good seating area here. So let me just flick this backrest over. Hopefully I can do this one-handed. That swings over like that. And then you've got a really good seating area here. So you've got seats on three sides of it. The table obviously unfolds. And then you've got a good size space to sit around. You can certainly have 6, maybe even 8 at that table there. Over on this side, because it stretches out to the full beam, you've got room for a really good size wet bar. If I lift up the lid on that, you can see on this one we've just got the sink and tap, but there is of course space for an induction hob or grill on this side. There's a whole raft of different drawers. I think they're all empty at the moment, but you could easily fill those with all your plates and cups and glasses and things. Cutlery in there. Got a fridge on that side. And I think, did I see another fridge somewhere? I'm not seeing it at the moment, but we'll keep a close eye out for that. We've also got this very clever convertible helm seat. That flips over. There is a button under here, and that whole thing lifts up. I'm not going to go all the way just to save time, but then you've got a really good forward-facing bench seat for 2, perhaps even 3 people. These cushions bolster as well. And then the helm position itself, classic sort of Scandinavian design, really well thought out. You've got a tilt adjustable steering wheel. You have the throttles on a little extension, bringing it a little bit closer to you, more ergonomic. Twin Garmin screens with the Yamaha engine one in the middle. We've got a bow thruster, really nice clear switch gear, all with little backlit notes for the roof lights, the anchor, the nav lights, fusion sound system, zip weight trim tabs over on this side, a little vent so you can keep cool. Nice to see they've even found room for a cup holder in the armchair of the helm bench. Now let's carry on forward for the moment. This is the asymmetric deck. You see we've got really deep bulwarks up to kind of hip height as far as here, and then there's a couple of steps up in the deck leading forward to the bow area. And look at this. This looks absolutely the perfect setup for the Mediterranean. We've got a lovely sunbed. Quite like the fact you've got these little raised mouldings on either side, just gives a bit more security when you're lying in them, but space for 3 people to lie out on there. Here's that table I mentioned earlier, so you can have it mounted here or at the stern. We've got another cushion over the bow area here, just means you can have a really nice chat. Somebody can sit on that facing back towards whoever's lying on the sun pads. There is of course access to the anchor locker in there. Lift that up, the whole thing comes up. I love the fact that the cushions are already attached to the top of the lid locker, so when you lift it up you don't have to fanny about moving cushions first. Really good access, separate chain locker on the left hand side and space for lines and fenders on the right hand one. We've also got a bow anchor, so if you want to sort of nose into an island or a beach, very Scandinavian style, you can also do that. We've got an electric windlass. And look at the size of these chunky grab rails on either side, really good and solid. Also got the black anodized or cleats. And there you can just see the sort of vestigial side deck coming along this side, more cup holders by the edge of the sun pad, and a lovely big deck light allowing natural light down below. So let's go and take a look down there now. So, before we head downstairs, just worth noting that there's a couple more little useful spaces under here, just somewhere to keep bits and bobs, and yet more bottles or cups in there. We've also got plug sockets. And I love the fact that this hardtop feels so solid and chunky. And whilst we're here, it's worth pointing out, you'll notice that there's a lot of these little rails, and that is so that you can have full canopies all the way around it. So at the moment it's completely open, but you can have clear canopies and totally enclose this area here. This comes back to here, so you can have canopies all the way back to here and effectively seal off this area. Or in fact, you'll notice that line runs all the way around the back of this hardtop, and then you can have a canopy that extends right out to the back here. So this whole area can be enclosed, so you can use it as a sort of all year round boat rather than having the full-on cabin boat, but it just means that when the sun does come out you can completely open it up and have a very different experience. And of course the layout itself is completely different from the 35 cabin boat. Right, let's go and have a quick look downstairs. 2 steps down, not too steep, they're not sort of quirky offset steps, they're very easy to manoeuvre down. And then check this out, a really good sized bed, and that is big. I'm guessing that's at least 6 foot across at its widest point. Of course it tapers a bit towards the bow, but that is a really big bed for this size of boat. And because he goes right out to the side, again there's no walk around deck on that side, so you get more volume, more headroom above the bed, and it feels really spacious. There's a couple of little windows in there. They are quite narrow, but it just means there's a bit of natural light to supplement the artificial lighting. And what's really nice is you've also got a little seating area here. Now, again, there's a table in there. It means there is enough headroom to sit down in here. Because of that skylight overhead, you've got plenty of natural light. You've obviously got the hatch leading down too. That gives more fresh air. And this also converts into an occasional berth. So if you need to sleep, if you're a parent with a young kid or something, you can certainly sleep another person on this space here. And of course, most importantly of all, there is a proper separate heads compartment. So if I swing open this door, like so, you can see there is admittedly not an enormous amount of headroom. It's also a little bit of a step up, but that is because the hull side itself is under there, and the hull and the stringers means you've got to have a slightly higher floor. You've also got a little bit of intrusion from there, so once or twice you might bump your head, but once you get used to it, it does mean you've got a separate heads compartment, and not just a heads, it is in fact a little wet room. That's why you've got a seat here, because if you want to have a shower, you just pull the shower head out of there, sit on the throne effectively. Obviously they've got carpet in just for the show, but there is a drain under here, so you can have a proper freshwater shower in here. Admittedly, it's not the largest of spaces. You have got a little window, so you've got some natural light, and you've got a fresh air vent up above there. So it does mean that if you are weekending, you can have full facilities on board. You've got a loo, you've got a shower, you've got fresh water, and you've got a really decent little cabin space. A couple of other significant numbers you might want to know about the Quarken 35. So with the 300 horsepower engines, you've got a top speed of around about 45 knots, but equally you've got a really decent range. Now this has a 700 litre fuel tank, and when you're cruising at around sort of 27, 28 knots, you should get a cruising range of certainly 250 nautical miles, and if you're brave enough, possibly even 280 nautical miles. So that is a really decent speed. It's a fast cruising speed and a decent range. Now, I've always thought of Quarken as a manufacturer of sturdy boats for Northern Europe and Scandinavian waters, but seeing this has completely changed my mind. It's actually a really effective hot weather boat too. And I've always been a fan of open boats at the best of times, and the fact that you can have this wonderfully versatile layout plus all those canopies, it really is in some ways the best of both worlds. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing a slightly different version of a Quarken. Please do let me know what you make of it in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching.